Let's talk about the latest developments on the recruiting prediction machine as we're just 8 or 9 days away from the early signing period. And this weekend, there were some major moves being made. We're going to talk about it with the great Steve Wiltfong. But first, do me a favor, smash that subscribe button. We're getting down to signing day. Things are getting crazy. We want you guys to be on board. Hit subscribe. All right, Steve, let's talk about a couple recruits trending in Tennessee's direction. First of all, let's talk running back Dwayne Morris. He's committed to USC. He's been talking to the Volunteers for a couple weeks now. Is it time for him to flip?
Back at Tennessee this past weekend, I think he's the next in the fold for the Vols.
All right. Now, one of the top defensive linemen in the country, Isaiah Campbell, he's not a flip target. He came off that commitment to Clemson about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and it's been a battle between UNC and Tennessee. Is there a favorite in this one?
I still like my prediction for Tennessee, not sleeping on North Carolina by any stretch. The Tar Heels always do a great job of recruiting coveted in-state players, but a return visit to Tennessee right after taking his official visit to North Carolina. He loves the atmosphere inside Neyland, what Coach Gardner has done historically with defensive linemen, the way this Tennessee program's playing as a team defensively in the hunt for the national championship. Those are all boxes checked. Still continuing to have dialogue about the resources off the field for Tennessee football players from an academic standpoint. So still meeting with Tennessee to talk about those things. But I still like my Tennessee pick, but certainly not sleeping on the Tar Heels.
All right, let's talk Georgia Bulldog flip targets, and we'll start with this Dennis Uzochukwu from Georgia State. Big old offensive lineman that you put a pick in to flip from Georgia State to Georgia. What's going on here?
One of the traiciest offensive linemen in the class, Charles Power and Cody Belair, just recently bumped him inside the on 300 of the latest updated rankings. Georgia offered shortly after. He's visited for the last 2 games. His official visit was this past weekend. Had a great experience. I love the way it's trending for Georgia. I think he'll be in the class.
All right, now we got another Georgia flip. This one from Boise State, potentially. Quarterback Hezekiah Millender. We haven't talked much about him. He's committed to Boise State. You put in a flip pick to Georgia. Now, we knew Georgia had just recently offered Jaron Sagapuloteli, also Kamario Taylor, but you think they're going to go to Boise State's commit list for their latest flip.
Well, I think that's just the way it's going to play out. That doesn't mean those other guys wouldn't beat him to the punch, but he visited this past weekend for the win over UMass, posted his scholarship offer from the Bulldogs on Sunday, already building a relationship with several staff members. I think when all's said and done, he's the best bet to end up in the class. That's why my prediction's on him. But Jaron's expected to take his official visit this weekend. They're trying to get Kamario on campus, so we'll see what happens.
Wow. Real competition for that final quarterback spot at Georgia. Let's check in on an older RPM that you made for defensive lineman Jeremiah McLeod. He's committed to the Florida Gators. How you feeling on that pick?
Still like Georgia. I think the Bulldogs ultimately add him to the fold. They have the number 1 class in the country right now. I think it's going to stay that way with the guys we've mentioned in this segment.
All right, now you got 3 major picks in for the Michigan Wolverines. Alex Graham committed to Colorado. Bradley Gompers committed to Duke, and Derek Meadows committed to LSU. You feel confident in all 3?
Meadows is the one I feel the best about. Now Alabama is making a late push for Derek Meadows as well. But I like where Michigan stands with him as he goes into the final week or so of his process. Gompers, Michigan, I've talked to some sources that feel like the Wolverines may have the inside track, but Penn State's in the middle of that one, and he could still ultimately stick with Duke. And then Alex Graham, he's been to Michigan a few times this year. He went back out to Colorado. So that one, I could see him still sticking with Colorado, but Michigan certainly giving him a lot to think about.
All right, guys, those are the latest developments on the recruiting prediction machine. How are you guys feeling about some of these big flips as we're just 8 or 9 days away from National Signing Day? Let us know. Comment section below.